Afternoon, everyone. Hello and welcome to Gratitude Happy Hour. I'm your host, Teri Angel, and I have a very special guest with me. Sonia is here today to talk to us, and I'm so excited about what she has to share. Sonia, welcome.
Oh, thank you, Teri. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, we are going to share this out. I'm going to play a short song that has a powerful message. So listen to the words of the song as you are sharing this for us. And those of you coming in, just let us know you're here. Put a little note in there that you're here, and we will see your name.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know if I'll ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down. Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings to fly. Sometimes we're crashing down, but we get up and start from the ground. And I really wanna know if I'll ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down. Even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down.
Awesome. I
Uplifting.
love that song. I love the
Beautiful.
words and the message, because sometimes it does feel like the sky is falling down, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah, but we don't have to buy into that spin. That's what I heard a long time ago. We have choices when we get up every morning. We can decide to turn the news on and go into the spin, or we can decide to be in our high vibration and to stay in that place where we know that we are spirit and we are free to make those decisions on our own of how we're going to be during the day. I love that.
Absolutely.
I love every day waking up and saying, thank you, God, for this new day. Now, what can I do with it?
Great.
So for my friends out there who are not familiar with Sonia, I'm going to have you tell us a little bit about yourself, but I just want to say how grateful I am for you and for Bennett and just the lovely energy that I was immersed in when I was in Mount Shasta. And you two brought me into your home, not knowing anything about me, not knowing who I was or what I was all about. You just heard the message to have me there. And through a mutual friend, we connected. And thank you Thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
grateful for the two of you.
It was a true blessing for us as well. So I'm so happy to have joined forces with you.
Absolutely. And when I got there, I knew I was meeting Bennett because that's who I was introduced to. But the blessing of meeting you and understanding what you are doing in our world, which is huge. And that's why I had asked you, would you please come on Gratitude Happy Hour with me? Because this message needs to go out. And it's so timely right now for us that are here on the earth plane to understand more about how we can empower ourselves. That is what you do. You help us to understand how we can become more empowered. So I'd love for you to give us the backstory of how you came to be where you are now with this understanding that you're birthed into the world and what's going on with all of that.
All right, I'm going to try to condense this story because it's long. It's my life, really. And I was born with the gift of dreams and visions. Those are my first memories. And being raised in a violent home with an alcoholic father, I was traumatized, and I was fearful for my life and for my family's life sometimes. And all those gifts shut down. And at a young age, I turned to drugs to numb my pain. And then after a drug overdose, I started counseling work, and that eventually led me into spiritual work. And I worked with a teacher for 18 years in a shamanic mystery school. And after he passed away, I left and was guided to a new teacher who actually had visited me in dream time, I don't know, 5 or 7 years before I actually arrived at her school. So as you said, it was really good that you found me in the dream, because because of the drug experience, I had contracted a virus and I was unable to work anymore. And my body basically just shut down and said, I'm not doing anything. You have to take care of me. And because I grew up basically hating myself because of internalizing all that energy from my parents, I thought it was my energy. And in a sense it was, because there's no accidents. We show up where we have our work to do. And so, when I joined this school, I went on a pilgrimage with my future husband to be. We were guided to go on one together. And the masters came in and said that we had passed the test and that they had a work for us to do together. And so the work entailed taking my first teacher's work, which was focused on the divine feminine, and merging it, bringing it into a higher spiral with the archetypal knowledge that had come through my second teacher. And so I said yes, and was thrown into huge initiations. You walk in innocence, oh yes, I want to do this work, and then everything kind of hits the fan, so to speak. All the stuff that you haven't processed and worked out is coming up and wanting to be dealt with. And so it's been a ride. My first husband passed away 7 years into the project. And thank goodness the masters had said in one of our sessions together that he would leave before me and that I would carry on the work. And so I knew that I needed to do that, but the situations that came up in the process were all felt very negative. I was asked to leave the group that I was involved in because of some energies that had come up that I was asked to deal with. And I don't want to go into that, but to make a long story short, I was very initiated into bringing this work in. So then I have to cut over a little bit into my health initiations that came up. So in 2012, I thought I was dying from the virus that I had contracted. And And I took myself up to the mountain. In fact, the mountain that's right behind Teri right now, Mount Shasta. And I got down on my knees and I prayed to Divine Mother to please help me to stop creating illness in my life. And despite all the spiritual work that I had done with my two teachers, I still was creating a lot of pain and suffering in my life. And I just didn't know how to stop it. And so after I finished my supplication, I heard her say, "Your prayer has been heard." And I went home that night, and for the next 3 days, I went through a physical purging. And then shortly thereafter, the Christ code started coming in through my dreams. So turns out that I had made it was my request that everything come through my dreams and visions. So everything that I receive it comes through that vehicle. And so it's been a process for me to decipher the dreams. Unfortunately, my second teacher was a dream master. So I was able to work with my dreams and really begin to decipher them and make sense out of them. And they actually have been the guiding light for my life, because when everything was going topsy-turvy, my dreams were guiding me and telling me, okay, this is off, this is right, go this direction, and it wasn't actually that clear, but I was able to make it clear through my work with my teachers. So then
tell us the process. Like, I know I dream a lot. I have a lot of lucid dreams, but if I don't write it down, like immediately when I wake up, I lose it. So tell us, do you do that? Do you write it down, or do you record it, or what is your process for keeping that information that you've been given during the dream time?
Well, I started studying my dreams at the age of 19, and they started coming in prolifically. So they would dream in sets of 3. So I'd have a set of, so each set was like, had a whole picture, and then I would get a second set behind it. And so I spent years writing down my dreams and then going over it through psychoanalysts and more of a mental approach to interpreting them. And then when I met my spiritual teacher, Anne Ree, her approach was through spiritual psychology, basically. So I began to understand the deeper messages and realize that there's lower astral dreams where we dream in black and white, and that's when the emotional body is not present. And once we really activate the emotional body and start working at that level, then the dreams turn into vivid colors. And so there's stages of dreaming connected to the chakras. And as you progress in your spiritual movement, those dreams will become more spiritually inclined. Whereas the first part of your dream, when you're first starting on the spiritual path, your dreams are going to be working out a lot of your energies, right? So they're going to be chaotic and distorted, because you're working out your stuff. And then the planets. So we have the moon, the planets, and the sun. All of those bodies influence your dreams. So depending on where you are in the cycle, will kind of give you an idea of how to gear your interpretation. So in the solar cycles, we have the archangels, Uriel, Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael, who take us through the solar year. And each one of those seasons is a time of actually tending to your spiritual garden. So Raphael is like the season for birthing of the Christ mind, and going to Uriel, we're going into summer. So it's like you're weeding out your garden, you're harvesting your spring planting, so to speak, harvesting your garden and taking out all the roots, weeds and stuff that kind of cropped up in your garden that year. And then you go down into Michael, and we move into like adjusting the ego, and and so it's like moving into universal principles of the law taking effect. And then when we go into Christmas, it's another time to start preparing for the birth of the Christ within us. So it's just a cycle of energy that we go through every year, and we have an opportunity to plant our seeds of growth, harvest them, take out the weeds, and and then balance our egos and go on to the next cycle. So so that is amazing that they help us with that, and they also help us to prepare for our for the soul's movement into other cycles. So we as a soul are birthed into multiple life streams all at the same time.
Mhm.
And in the fourth dimension, all those realities are happening now. And we are in this body though, and so we're having this experience. And as you're having this experience, you're going to come into the awareness that these other life streams are processing the same energies that you are. And so those memories might start bleeding through for you, even in your dreams. So I know I'm took like a big leap here, so I'm going to stop and let you ask some questions.
Yeah, because I'm with you. I understand that totally, and I understand how everything is happening at the same time. It's not happened or will happen, but everything is going on. So I know a lot of people, and myself included, in the past, will have the dream, and we're like, I wonder what that means. And so you go through this process of trying to figure out what the literal dream means.
Mhm.
So would you say that you don't look at like how it played out in your dream, but you look more at the energy of the dream?
Well, it's interesting. So the planets and the moon will bring a certain emphasis into your dream. There's emotional emphasis, there's mental, there's spiritual. And so if you know what emphasis to look at, it can make it easier to interpret those dreams. So when I'm going through my dream interpretation, I first look at where the sun is. So where am I in the cycle of my spiritual garden? And then I look at where are the planets in relationship to the moon, and they're going to influence what is coming in. And then of course the moon is going to have its influence. So when I put all those influences together, and then I take the symbols that are coming through the dreams and interpret those, and basically the symbols, like if you're dreaming of animals, you're dreaming of aspects of your personality or people around you. So you're getting a mirror reflection of yourself to the people in your dreams. And how do I say this? So the dream itself is going to show you where you're at. It's going to mirror where you're at. And basically where we're at is the illusion, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it's not like you want to own the illusion, but you want to realize that you're playing out this part that isn't you. Your true identity is divine. It's, it has all the qualities of creator. And because we are born into an amnesia state, into a space-time continuum where we are learning how to be the spirit that we are, to embody it. That's part of the ascension process, is to actually embody yourself, embody your spirit. So it's not about going anywhere. It's about embodying all these aspects of yourself. So we have each chakra has a twin aspect, and each level has an embodiment. And there are 12, you might say, zodiacal aspects of yourself that you are embodied in this now. And there are 12 aspects under each one of those. So you're having a whole lifetime of experience as an Aryan, as a Taurian, etc. Through these different embodiments, through these different life streams. And part of the ascension process is to coalesce all those experiences into the 12. So it's like having a council of 12 that you're convening with. You're congregating everybody back to the initial 12 blueprints, archetypal blueprints, so that you can coalesce them into one consciousness. And that's actually what ascension is. You're coalescing all these live streams into the 12 prototypal blueprints so that you can merge them into one body, one consciousness, and ascend with your Akashic records, basically, so that you can now be of greater service to creation. That's like wrapping that up in a nutshell. Like,
yes,
really cool.
I love how that all just kind of came together there. That was beautiful. So is it a good thing, do you think, to set your intention before you even go to sleep that you're going to remember those dreams? I mean, I know you have really great dream recall because I see what you have birthed in through your dream time. So what's a good habit for us to get into? Those of us that want to remember more, to be able to journal it and look at it and learn from it.
So basically, when you go to sleep at night, I say the Christ Code mantra to align myself with my spirit, to insulate myself from any interfering energy. So there are energies in the world that are they're shadow energies. We all have our shadows. And some people are really entrenched in their shadow. In fact, a lot of what's going on in the planet is all shadow work. And so there are energies that use technology to interfere and to actually manipulate our dream body. So to prevent that from happening, it's very important to insulate and align yourself with your divine self, your higher self, every night before you go to sleep. And that way, those influences are taken out, and then you can have your pure dreams, which are working out your own soul's walk, basically, right? So you intend, if you want, whatever you want to focus on, like maybe you have a question about a dream you had the night before, you can go in and say, okay, I'd like to get clarity about that dream, and I'm asking my divine self to give me clarity tonight. Or maybe you have a question or anything that you want to know, you can intend it and then go to sleep and let your dream body work on it, because what we dream in at night is a continuation of our daytime action. So it's a continuous cycle. So you don't have to do all the work in your waking state. A lot of the work can be done in your sleep state. So that quickens the action of your ascension, because you're working day and night 24/7, because you are utilizing your soul's time in both dimensions, our third dimensional dream and our fifth dimensional dream. So third dimensional dream is slower, it manifests slower, but in fifth dimension, whatever you focus your attention on automatically manifests instantaneously. So it speeds things up a lot.
Right. Yeah. And from what I understand, it's in those moments when we are not resisting, when we're just relaxed and, you know, our brain's not telling us that we can't or giving us the limits. That's when we can receive those messages so clearly and, you know, bring everything through that we need to know.
Exactly. So I've neglected to say what the mantra was. So it's Ak, Imu, Ovi. And I say that mantra 108 times a day to focus my energy, to insulate me from all the radio stations and Wi-Fi and just consciousness, all the negative talk, self-talk, all the negative talk that's out there. You know, we've got, satellite, Wi-Fi, radio, you name it. As tuning stations, we are being bombarded 24/7 with all these frequencies, right? So I say the mantra every day to clear that field so that I am focused solely on my soul work and not having to deal with all that nonsense, right? And there is so the mantra itself is activating your spiritual atoms, but we also have physical atoms. And so there's a second code, which is numeric, which anchors the code into your cellular DNA. And that code is 01339436470. So for every time I say, every 3 times that I say the mantra, I say the code once. So it's a 3-to-1 ratio. So if I'm saying the mantra 108 times, I need to say the DNA code 36 times. So what I do is I use mala beads.
Mhm.
So they're broken up into 4 sections of 27, and then there's a linking bead. And on the linking bead, I say the DNA codes 9 times. So I'm saying 27 times. I'm saying the mantra, and if I do the math 3-to-1, that would make it 9 times that I do the DNA code. So
Okay. Would you spell the mantra out for me, and I'll type it in for our listeners?
yes, it's ACCIMUOV as in Victor Y. And within that mantra, there are, it's activating, let's see, 2, 4, 5 elements. And the Christ codes are built off the elements. And so the elements are like the heart, the unifying force behind the codes are the elements. And so we're taking your divine feminine and your divine masculine counterparts and unifying them through the sound of the vowels. And the consonants in the language are your masculine and feminine principles. So in the English alphabet, we have 26 letters, 13 feminine and 13 masculine. And the vowels are integrating your energy by speaking them. So it's kind of like a fast track.
Mhm. Right. Yeah, I
Right.
love this. I love it. So if somebody doesn't fully understand even what that mantra is doing, would it be beneficial
Absolutely.
to chant that?
Absolutely. Because the mantra is working with universal laws and principles that are coming from source.
Mhm.
And so even though you don't understand what they mean, they're still activating you. And in my book that I'm going to be releasing in 2022, I'm going to be giving you the whole blueprint basically for our 2029 ascension. So it's a 2029 Ascension Mastery Workbook. And there's actually 2 parts to the book. There's the workbook, and then there's the guidebook, which initiates you if you want to take it further. So, and the book, there's actually 4 books in one. And the first part is Body Mind Mastery, where we're working with the Christ code mantra and the chakra codes, and basically giving you an inside look at what is the journey like. Like, no one's really written a book that I've read that tells you what is the journey. So in Body Mind Mastery, we're giving you a good overview of what the journey entails, giving you some tools to start working and raising your frequency for ascension. So not everyone is going to be ready to coalesce all their live streams when Mother Gaia ascends. But what you want to do is you want to have your frequency being able to match hers so that you can go with her. And so what the Christ codes are doing, they're exponentially increasing your vibratory rate every time you speak them. And the mantra, I've tracked this for a couple of years. The mantra increases your vibration for up to 12 hours. And then it drops down, but it never drops down to where you started. It's always spiraling up. So, so as you're working with the codes, you're going to get more and more energy. So when I was in the height of my illness, I was sleeping 18 hours a day. And then when I got somewhat better, I was sleeping 12 hours a day. And now I sleep 46 hours a day because the codes are so energizing. And I realized when I first started using the codes, I didn't realize what the DNA codes were for. I didn't understand their purpose. And so I was just singing the codes all over the place. And I was sleeping, like getting up after 4 hours of sleep. And I'm like, okay, let's go, and I was like, like I was on caffeine or something, Well, for me, it's chocolate. I just eat a little bit of chocolate and I'm boom,
Right.
So I was like that all the time. And I'm like, okay, I know I need more than 4 hours of sleep because I'm still healing this body, right? So I started speaking the DNA codes and I went back to my normal sleep hours. Not normal, but I went to 6 hours of sleep instead of 4, and that felt better. So I'm just really excited about how much energy you get, because I got basically high on life. I'm high on life when I speak the codes, and they just make me feel just so excited, because I don't get caught up in all the junk that's going on in the world. I don't listen to the news. I hear what's going on. I'm like, okay, that's a reality, but that's not my reality. And I'm creating another reality, and I'm creating it with my codes. And so I'm just solely focused on getting my book out. And in fact, I haven't been even, a deer just ran by.
I love that.
Oh, no. It's like, hi. Anyway, I've been so focused on getting the book out. The message has been focused on that. And so I haven't really been working with people. I do meet once a month with a group who want to get support for working with the codes. And I'm also working in council with other people, so that we can bring in the vision that we have, so that we're supporting that vision and actually doing something about it. So I'm very excited about what the codes are doing for humanity, even though, quote unquote, it's not out in the world yet. This work is being done for humanity.
Yes, it is. And it's powerful work. So if somebody wanted to work with you one-on-one to understand the codes more, they could just contact you and set something up to get the teaching.
I actually have 2 websites. Christcodes.com is my information website, where you can find out about what I'm doing and the things that I'm offering. And you can set an appointment with me, and we can, talk and see how we would like to work with one another. And then I have christcodes.org, which is my teaching platform. And so I have, before I started writing the book, I spent a couple of years actually building the platform, so that when I got everything together, that I'd be just ready to go. So, so I've kind of done things differently than other people. My vision was to get everything ready and totally done, and then I'm going to go.
Right. So, well, we are streaming live on YouTube as well with this interview. So if people are on YouTube, would they be able to find you on there with any of this information?
Yes, I do have a YouTube channel under christcodes.com, or Christ Codes. I guess I don't know my own channel, but anyway, if you search for Christ Codes, you will find me. And let's see, I am also on Facebook, although I'm not actively participating in Facebook just because of what's going on that channel. But you can find me there. I'm also on Instagram, I believe, and what's the other one? The Twitter.
Twitter. Yeah, Twitter. Yes. And I have seen some of your videos, and I think they're absolutely amazing. You do such a great job and so clear in explaining this. And today I understand it even more than I did before. So,
yes, you. I do. I was doing a weekly, I don't know, I was doing weekly, or actually monthly, talks about the Christ Codes for a couple of years. And so a lot of those are on my website under my Ascension, tab. I have a, like a video channel. I also have a blog. So you can go in there and read some of my stuff. And I do offer some free gifts on the .org, also on the .com, but I think they're more complete on .org. They're not completely together because I'm focusing on the book. I mean, there are things there. There are the Christ Code mantra, the chakra codes, There's a 369 gift that I'm giving away, which will help you get started. And then if you want more support, I have a Christ Healing Circle that I meet with everyone once a month. And once I get the book out, then I'll be more active on a weekly basis with everyone. And bringing more things into motion that I've already set up.
So, Sonia, I know that you have done self-healing with these codes. What do you feel is the most beneficial thing that's helped you through birthing these through and working with the codes? I know you work with them every day. What can you tell us has been really that, if you had to put your finger on it, what has been the most benefit with experiencing this?
Well, there is a system and they all have their purpose. So the mantra keeps me energized and focused. The chakra codes are raising up into my consciousness what is out of alignment. It's actually realigning all the meridians and the nadis. Everything is getting calibrated, you might say. If you're familiar with axitonial alignment, it's a 5D upgrade for your energy, for your bioenergy system. It does that. I used to balance my meridians with touch. All I have to do is say the chakra codes once and all the meridians are set. So the chakra codes align. Actually, the alphabet correlates to the your spinal cord, your spinal column. So everything is connected on a physical level, all the way down to the atomic level. So it connects up to your genes, your chromosomes, your codons. Everything gets touched when you're speaking the Christ codes. And so the transmutation tool that I use are what I would call the Christ elemental codes. So each chakra is connected to an element. Now, in science, they only recognize 4 or 5 elements. I've added a few more, which fills out the picture for me because I'm basically working with technology or information that's not complete. And so when we received for instance, the Kabbalah, it was half the code. When when we had focuses of evolutionary growth and for our consciousness. So we had the matriarchal cycle, which was about a 5,000 year cycle. And then we went into the patriarchal, which we're in now, which is another 5,000 year cycle, which we are now exiting. So it's this, so we move in waves like this. And in those waves, we also have a spiral. So each of those waves is happening in all the live streams that we are touching in this moment. So everything is connected through that action of the wave moving in a spiral. So when we work with the elemental codes, we are actually, there's the code itself. God bless you.
Thank you.
There's the code itself that is speaking to your spiritual atoms. So you have 12 spiritual atoms in your physical body, your emotional body, your mental body, and they hang out in your etheric body. And the part of the ascension process is to activate each of those 12 spiritual atoms and merge them into the etheric. And then once we merge the etheric body, then part of the next cycle is for, it's connected to the prototypes that I talked about, the zodiacal prototypes. And those actually will coalesce as a flame, as a flame. So you've heard of the twin flame, right?
Yes.
So in Ascension, we're basically working to coalesce each one of those streams into a flame of consciousness. And the Ascension process is, in the Ascension process, we have an ascension, we have a spiritual ascension, and we have a physical ascension. So first, the spiritual ascension will happen first. through the flames coalescing or integrating. The live streams integrating as one flame. So you'll have 12 flames. And then those 12 flames will merge into one. And when that happens, you have the physical ascension. And we're actually ascending into the sun. So that's why you have to have a high vibration. You have to be able to handle the energy of the sun
Mhm.
in your spiritual body. And so we're transforming the physical carbon-based body into a crystalline light body. So it's a journey.
It is a journey for sure. And I love how it's so clear when you explain it, and just understanding it is so easy once it's just put out there, and I know that the book that you're writing is going to be comprehensive. And I know you said there were like 4 parts to the book, the workbook and the teachings and the codes.
I go into quite a bit of detail of how we get to this, but I'm kind of summarizing in essence of all those 4 chapters. There are more than 4 chapters, but those 4 sections of the book: body, mind, heart, soul, and ascension mastery. That's kind of, I'm giving you like the blueprint, like right there.
Right. Yeah, this is amazing. And hopefully it has piqued the interest of those who had never heard of the Christ codes before, or the chakra codes. There was a lot of stuff brought out today in this conversation. And we have Carla on, who says this is very interesting.
Well, good. So, I neglected to finish up though with the elemental codes.
Okay.
So the elemental codes are going to be activating those spiritual atoms. Okay. And so we have 12 chakras. We have a central base of 12 chakras.
Right.
The 7 chakras that we're familiar with are overlaid over our physical body from 7 to 1, where it's our relativity chakras. But we have 5 higher centers that correspond to our soul powers. And so those are going to be activating those. And then I have yantras, which are basically sacred geometry in like a mandala format. And those help open up windows to your soul. So a lot of times when you're working with an energy, the energy may come up, but you don't really understand what it is, but you're processing a lot of energy, and you need clarity onto what is this about? Why am I feeling this way? What is this deep feeling that I'm feeling in my gut or whatever? And the yantras will help open up a doorway into your soul so that you can actually bring back some memory. Sometimes memory is necessary to coalesce the 12 basic life streams that we want to coalesce. So there are 3 lives that basically hold the blueprint for decoding the rest of you.
Right.
So it's kind of like cracking the code for the soul to open up the rest of the life streams. And so those are tools that help open those spaces. And it's a very easy process. It's painless to open those memories and see how in maybe several life streams you're working out the same energy that you're aware of now. That is, maybe it happened when you were 7, maybe it happened when you were 30. I mean, it's bringing everything together. It's weaving everything back together for you to see it as a whole creation. So, so each piece has its own value.
Mm-hmm. So what if I don't know where that happened? I have some stuck energy that keeps coming up over and over. Will it go to where it needs to go if you're doing the codes?
Yes, well, it's all about intention. So I give you some blueprints and some formulas to speak when you're working with the codes. so that we're actually transmitting the energy at the source point of where it started. And I bring in language, like all time, timelines, planes, dimensions, and I go through the body, all the way down to the to the electrons. So like, okay, let's clear it. Wherever the source of it is, let's clear it. And we're going to speak the codes. And sometimes 3 rounds of speaking the codes will be enough. If it's deeper energy, 6 rounds, and maybe sometimes 9 rounds of speaking the codes. And then if it's very, very stuck energy, I always create a sacred circle and I bring in the masters. I always bring in the masters, but I have everyone send love to the energy until it's ready to move on. And that usually kind of just, how can you like not accept love?
Right.
It kind of melts everything away. The
It
codes
does.
are all love based anyway. So it's just, just kind of like pouring on the juice, and the energy eventually goes, okay. It's kind of like sometimes you have to have a little conversation. Like, do you really, this is your essence. This is who you really are.
Yeah.
Feel it. Let yourself feel it. And this is what can be yours. This is available to you if you just open to it, right? So
Yes.
Sometimes you have to talk to these parts of yourself like they're children, and kind of coax them into like, okay, if you're afraid, let me hold your hand. And so we have sacred space that we create, and we create a sacred circle that's a safe space for these injured parts of ourselves to come in. So we make it as safe as possible, so that it's a safe journey.
Yes. And love is safe.
Yes.
And Kuan Yin had told me decades ago that love is the energy that heals. So you're saying that's what these codes are. They're bringing in that love, yes, right from the source of all energy. So I love that.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I'm really wanting to give people your links again to reach you, because I know that this has been so informative today and interesting and intriguing. So I want people to reach out. I want them to learn more about the Christ codes and to get ready for that book when it comes out next year. And tell us again, if you have the name of it, what the name of your book is. And
okay, well, start with
we'll be able to find that book as also.
All right. So first you're going to need the website links. So it's christcodes.com. I'm actually going to be giving the book away at christcodes.com. And it's going to be housed though at christcodes.org. So either website will get you to the book. And it's my gift to humanity. And so I'm initially going to publish it in like as an ebook, and then I will publish it in a paper. But I want to get it out to the world, and I want it to be a gift to humanity. And then I will offer courses and stuff for people who want to go further, who want to know more about it. Because I'm basically just giving you a blueprint to work with, and the tools to work with it. And I'm sure there's going to be questions, and people are going to want more support, so that's the goal. The name of the book is Christ Codes 2029 Ascension Mastery Workbook. At least that's what it is today.
It's still Ascension.
And my goal is to release it in January of 2022. So I'm sending it off to the editor at the end of this month. And I'm still writing the initiations. I have 4 more initiations to write. And then the first part of the book is kind of written in a horizontal fashion. So I'm taking you through like my journey of what I discovered working with my teachers. And then we're going to assemble it in what I call the 369 system, where we're going to vertically align it. So I'm going to speak at all those levels through key code numbers. And so you're going to go through key code 000, and then you're going to be initiated. And so there's 4 parts to it before you can be initiated. So it's almost like rewriting the book, but in a different way, so that you get a whole different experience of it. So it's and the first part of the book, Body Mind Mastery, can actually be used as an oracle. So it's going to be it's kind of like grid. It's like a light grid. I'm creating this grid of energy that you can work with it in different ways according to your need. And basically it's all about self-initiation. You are the master. I'm not here to give you the answers. I'm here to show you the road, give you the blueprint, and support you on taking your own journey, because all the answers are inside of you. And I'm not about giving you the answers and putting myself up on the pedestal for me to lecture to you. I'm here about supporting you, going through the journey and helping you see what you can do with the codes for yourself and become the master that you are.
I love that, Sonia. Thank you. Thank you so much for what you're doing to help us here in humanity. There's a question from someone who's listening, and I think you might have already answered this in the conversation, but we'll put the question out there and see what you want to say to it. Carla says, when I dream, it's always in color, and the people in the dream are real. The stories can sometimes be overwhelming. Do you have any idea how I could better cope with what I see? I am dreaming of things before it happens in life.
Absolutely. Okay. So you're a prophetic dreamer. And that says a lot about you. And it takes a lot of strength and courage to be able to see the future before it arrives. So I started dreaming of my future 25 years before it actually showed up. And when it actually did show up, I'm like, oh my God, Sophia, I call God Sophia, has given me a roadmap to now. I know what to do now because I've been shown what's going to happen. So it's a beautiful blessing to be a prophet. And do you understand the messages that you're receiving, Carla? It's Carla.
When you were saying that just now about being a prophet, I just got chills head to toe, and I could just feel that energy, because I've also had those, I call them precognitive dreams, where you dream something and it does come to be.
Yes. So my first, I've been precognitive since I was a little girl, but the first major one I had was 6 months before Katrina happened. And I had a dream of the panhandle, all the earth coming out of Texas and Alabama, just like almost like liquid sand, just flowing into the ocean. And I didn't know what it was. And when Katrina happened, I'm like, oh my God, that was a premonition of Katrina. And I didn't pray about it. That was the first time I had received a message of that magnitude. And I was upset that I didn't use my prayers and my intentions to help, prevent that from happening so badly. So we are given information beforehand because we are prophets, and we are meant to share. Sometimes we're meant to share those messages. So I would go into your communion with your divine self or with Sophia and ask, do you want me to, once you understand the message, when do you want me to share this message? Is it time?
Okay. So she says, not at the time of the dream, and they are very detailed.
Okay. So I plan on giving some dream courses to help people with their dreams. I obviously can't do that till I get the book out, but I know the dreams are a big part of, they're like a major part of my work. And I intend to be giving dream classes because, it's just a super important part of what we do here on the planet. So. Yeah.
So Carla, I would encourage you to click on one of those links that I provided and get in touch with Sonia and see if you can connect more with her and get signed up for the book, the classes, the whole enchilada. Beautiful. Sonia, this has been beautiful being with you today and so informative and inspirational. I love the Christ codes myself, and I love the energy of them and what I feel that it brings to my own life. So thank you for birthing that into the world. Thank you for being the beautiful soul that you are, and for having that open heart of just wanting the best for us here in this earth experience. So much love to you. I appreciate your time. I honor that. And thank you so much for being with us. I want to hear more. I want to hear these codes getting out there more. I want to see your book going into hands of people all over the globe. I'm one of your biggest cheerleaders, and I want to help any way I can to promote that and to get that out there to us.
I appreciate you so much. You're such a beautiful soul. And thank you for what you're doing. All the work that you're doing, the peace march that you're doing. It's such a blessing, and we so need it. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And much love to you, to your husband, and to everyone that's watching. So much love to all of you. Stay in your heart and stay blessed. Your heart will never lie to you. So go in there for your answers. And I'll see you next week on Gratitude Happy Hour. And it's always happy hour somewhere. So always give out that gratitude as much as possible. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Good night, everybody. Good night, Sonia.